Hey everybody, Neil with Aviator Q. Welcome back to another episode. On today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of cast iron restoration. If you guys recall from some of my previous videos, I've got that cast iron grate system by Craycourt. Haven't quite taken as good care of the cast iron as I should have, and it's gotten a little bit of rust on it. We're going to bring that cast iron back, we're going to clean it up, we're going to season it up, and we're going to get it back in working order. So y'all stick around, this should be fun. Sit back, relax, and welcome aboard. So there's lots of ways to take rust off of cast iron. For this situation, this is cast iron that we're going to be cooking on. So we want to do something that's a little bit not so chemically, because we are going to be putting food on this eventually. What we're going to do is we're going to give it a vinegar bath. We're going to soak it in some vinegar. The grates have all kinds of crevices and slots and slats and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to just submerge it for about 24 hours. Maybe see if it's not, some of them aren't that bad. We might be able to do some in 12. But we're going to take it out to the shop. We're going to soak it in vinegar, and we're just going to let it sit overnight, kind of see where we're at in the morning. Alright, so we've moved down to the shop. This is where we're going to actually submerge the cast iron into the vinegar. It's just more out of the way. I don't have to smell the vinegar. But hopefully it's not too much of an echo. A lot of concrete down here in the shop. I don't think I've ever filmed anything quite for Aviator Q down here. But anyways, I'm not going to be able to quite submerge the ring for the cast iron grate system. I don't have anything. If it's a 22-inch kettle, and I just don't have any plastic container that's 22 inches diameter at the base of it. So for that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to hit it with a little bit of steel wool. For those of you, I didn't know this until we ordered it off of Amazon, and I told Courtney, I said, hey, throw me an order of steel wool. Steel wool comes in like 7 different grits. I think 4 is the most, it looks like a chore bowl, and triple or quadruple 0, I'm sorry, is like ultra fine. So it's like quadruple, 3 0, double 0 0, all the way up to 4. That's your range there. So I think I'm gonna try to like knock some of the rust off the ring. I may spin it in the vinegar a little bit, but I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a sec. All right, so here's the ring. This fits on the grate, on the grill, just pretty much where your normal grate was. And each of these little quads associates with this like an insert, so it just kind of sets in like that if you've never seen it. So this is kind of like a wok. I've got a vegetable, and then I've got, or I could set it up to be like all grill grates. Anyways, all these are kind of dirty, so this is what we're going to be cleaning. But I can't get this piece in, so I think what we're going to do here, this is the I think this is the number 4. I think before I try anything with, I'm just going to see if I just can't kind of drag this across it. If I can't do much with that, I've got a different grade. I think I've got some 2 right here. That might be a little bit better for it. I don't know. This is kind of an experiment. This might do a little bit better. They've also got some attachments for your drill guys that can really, it just hooks into the where the bit would go and just kind of spins. That's what I think I'm going to do kind of for this. I'll work on this out, you know, off camera. But for the most part, the other part, we're just going to soak it in vinegar. So we'll get that soaked, and I'll work on this a little bit, and then we'll dip it down in the vinegar what we can fit in. Alright, so to bathe the inserts into the vinegar, just got a plastic container, we're going to add it. Guys, I am using apple cider vinegar today. If you can, you'd probably want to use white distilled. I don't think it's going to have any cleaning, it just smells a little bit better. But we got canning going on right now. A lot of the grocery stores are out of the vinegar. And we bought all the white vinegar the grocery store had tonight for our own canning purposes. So I'm just going to use apple cider vinegar. So So you guys can see it's almost 99% submerged, just that top lip with the vinegar we had there. But the grates were the worst part. They're already in there, so we're just going to let it set for about 12 to 24 hours, kind of see where we're at. We'll check back on it tomorrow afternoon. And so just a quick update here. We're at the 12-hour mark for the cast iron restoration. I've been spinning the wheel a little bit to try to just get the outside edge in vinegar for a little bit. It's not really doing much, but the grates are under the bit larger things here, and we got basically our wok and our sauteed grill vegetable. But something has definitely happened to it's getting a lot darker. We got some bubbles in there, so we got some kind of a chemical reaction going on. We're gonna let it go for another maybe 8 hours or so, maybe start scrubbing on it tonight. But that's about the 12-hour mark right here. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the next night. We've had the cast iron in the vinegar for about 24 hours now. Off camera, I've been working on it. I'm gonna film the last little bit of it. Kind of give you just a quick update what I've been doing. I took the number 4 steel wool and kind of knocked a lot of the rust off of it. And then I came in with a brush that attaches to my drill. The whole head just fits into a drill just like a chuck, and it just gets in there and works on it. I use this to on the cleaning my grill video. This is what I really got in and did some hardcore. So that's kind of just like taking the last little bit, really getting in those hard to reach spots with some high RPMs and whatnot. But let me just show you what we're kind of working with, and then I'll just show you me taking the rust off the last little bit. So this was one of the worst of the grates. You can already tell that a lot of the vinegar has already started to work on it. We're just going to come through here. We're going to take the polish off, but just kind of wanted to give you guys a before look. Alright, so right after I scrub it, I dip it in some the rest of the vinegar. You guys can see it's pretty much taking it right down to the bare cast iron. All the rust is removed. That's what pretty much all of it looks like, but the ring, like I said, I wasn't able to get the ring into the vinegar. So that's pretty much what I've done to all these pieces. I started with that real stiff steel wool, and just kind of came in with the drill, kind of prettied it up. If there were some hard crevices, I'd come in with that, maybe that the number 2 grit a little bit finer, and I'd get in the crevices with that. But like I said, pretty much got most of everything but that big center ring down to the cast iron. Since I'm not able to soak most of that, I don't think that red nylon brush on the drill will work. I think what I'm going to have to do is get one of those small steel ones and really get into it. I don't have one right now, so I'm going to have to go to the hardware store, finish that up. The tricky part now is, now that it's clean, if you were to rinse this off and let it sit, it would instantly rust right back up. So you kind of need to go right into seasoning at this point. The only problem is it's close to midnight now, and I'm not going to do that tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it sitting just like it is. I put it right back down in the bucket. The only thing that's sticking out is the top lip of the deeper ones. So like I said, the only thing exposed is just the top lip of the vegetable one and the wok. If that were to rust, if I come out here in the morning and it's rust, I'm just going to flip it over, let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, and just rehit it with some steel wool. But I know the grates won't rust because they're submerged in vinegar. So tomorrow when I have more time, we're going to take these back up to the kitchen, get out of this echo, and we're going to show you seasoning and get them ready to get back in use. We'll see you in the morning, guys. Good morning, guys, to another day of cast iron restoration. The other night I had an idea of how I could get that ring in the bag. Since I had nothing that fit, I just put it in a large shop towel or shop trash bag, And I kind of built this rotisserie thing here, like a campfire rotisserie. And I just got a little 2x3 running through the strings to kind of help keep the edge up. Everything's completely submerged in there. It's not gonna be able to be light enough to see, but the liquid's kind of right there. You can kind of see the liquid moving around. It's held it in. The bag hasn't leaked. The vinegar hasn't leaked through the bag. So we're gonna pull it out. We're gonna clean it up a little bit, and we're gonna try to get it seasoned. So I pulled the ring itself out of the solution. I laid it up here on the workstation. Took the drill with the brush. That made real fast work of it. You can see, guys, it's pretty much stripped it down. Most of the rust is gone. There's still a little bit right there. I might be able to hit with some steel wool. But for the most part, it made really fast work of it. Super easy to do. So we're going to take this up inside, start the seasoning process. Alright, so we're back inside. We're going to take that freshly cleaned cast iron. Now we're going to start to season it up. Kind of what we're going to do, we're going to hit it with some soap and water. Yes, I said soap. When it's raw, unseasoned, that's the only time I think you can use soap on cast iron. We want to make sure that we get all of that vinegar off of it. Then immediately we're going to get it dry. We're going to get it into the oven to kind of heat up. One, heat up, and two, heat to dry. Once that cast iron is warm, once it's dry and warm, we're going to pull it out. We're going to put a thin coat of oil on it. You can use flaxseed oil, grapeseed oil, avocado oil, olive oil, Crisco. It was good enough for grandma, you know. I'm going to go with grapeseed today. I have grapeseed. It's fairly cheap. It's got a very high smoke point. So we're going to show you that. But for now, we're just going to show you getting it cleaned up. It's very large, doesn't quite fit in the sink. So I'm just going to have to kind of like spin it and do my best not to make a mess and make the wife mad. Alright, so I'm just going to use the soft sponge with some detergent. I've got a cut on my hand, that's why I've got a glove. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to kind of scrub all that vinegar and dirt off. There, we're just going to go with a clean towel, get it nice and dry, all the crevices we can. While I'm doing that, I'm going to start preheating the oven about 200 degrees. Alright guys, there's a slight problem. It's too big to fit in the oven. So what I've been doing, I kind of held it up and kind of held it closed with the door it was kind of propped on an angle. I'm going to go ahead and just get it seasoned like it was already seasoned. Once I do this process, you really kind of want to bake it, really let that set. I think the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I take it out to the grill and get a real low temperature on the grill. So I'm going to show you seasoning it up real fast. It's already warm. Alright, so what I've got a microfiber towel. You want something lint-free to kind of do this, and I'm just going to kind of fold it up so it's a little bit manageable. And I'm just going to dip it in, and I'm going to work just a little bit of oil around it. You need to hold something, grab a hot pad or a welding glove if you got one laying around. Make sure you get all the crevices. Remember, everything's been stripped off. When the cast iron's warm, you can almost see it just sucking up the oil. Alright guys, and here's the most important spot. When you're done, take a dry section of that rag, if you got one, or a new rag, and you're going to want to wipe all of what you just did off. A little bit goes a long way. I'm going to let the top, this is the bottom, I'm going to let that soak in. I'm going to start wiping dry the top, and then I'll come in and wipe the bottom. Alright, so at this point, if we had the ability to, you would stick it in the oven. This won't fit with the way it is. I'm just going to pop it in the oven for a second, kind of hold it up with the door best I can. Alright, so I was able to kind of finagle this thing in here where I got the door mostly closed for about 15 minutes, about 2:20. If you guys notice, there is a little bit of splotching right here. So we're just going to go back through and we're just going to wipe it off one more time. You don't have to do this step, but it could affect your overall appearance if you're going for like that nice shiny black appearance. Alright, we're going to let that come to, we're going to kind of let that cool down, come to room temperature. It's not as seasoned as I'd like it to be. Like I said, if this wasn't so big, I would now put it back in the oven at like 350 degrees. But for now, the oil is set enough to where we have a coating on there. It should be resistant to rust, should be able to store until the next time we're really able to get it on the grill and really heat it up. So guys, I appreciate you sticking with me to the end. I know this was a long video, multiple changes over multiple days. It took so long to make, I even got a haircut in between takes. But just to do a quick recap on everything we did, I did the cast iron grate system by Craycourt. I let it get all rusty and nasty. I mean, I never really seasoned it right when I first got it. When I first got it, I didn't really know much about cast iron. It got rusty on us, so we had to clean it up. We gave it all a vinegar bath, and then we did a little combination of steel wool, that red nylon brush, and a steel wheel that hooks into your drill. For the seasoning process, give it a quick bath with water and dish detergent. Immediately get it up into a really low temperature oven. You want to dry it off and then basically heat it to dry so there's absolutely zero moisture left on that so it won't rust. Once it's warm from that process, you can pull it off with a lint-free rag. Use your favorite high temperature oil or shortening with Crisco, something like that. Give it a quick rub down. Immediately once it's done that, you're going to want to dry it back off, wipe all that oil off, bake it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Once that's done, you're going to pull out, you're going to wipe it dry again, and then put it back in the oven at 350 for an hour. That should give you a nice seasoning. If it's something you're really going to be cooking on a lot, maybe do that 2 to 3 times. That'll really give you a nice thick seasoning layer, really bake it in, and it should be good to go from there. If this is the first video that you guys have watched with us, appreciate you sticking with us and watching the video. We do a lot of grilling, smoking videos. If you like what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the next video here at Aviator Q. See ya.